all my ribs were broken, and according to the doctors, my skull too has smashed and beyond repair. So I was declared a bad case.
Because even if he survived, he cannot have a unstable spine, so you cannot sit him on a wheelchair, you cannot rehabilitate him. I didn't think he was going to gain function again, but he needed to be stabilized.
Huzur entered the ambulance. The whole place was lighting up.
Someone came and said, there is a man who wants to see you. So I went out there, and Muhyiddin was standing there. And I was like, Subhanallah.
I am called Alhaji Muhyiddin Osman. I am a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Ghana. And I was privileged to be a member of the planning committee of the historic visit to Ghana by His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmed. Just some few weeks to the conference, on my way back to Accra from Winneba, I had a near fatal accident. But my situation was such that the doctors declared me a bad case. My spine was broken twice, close to my neck and towards the end of my back. All my ribs were broken, and according to the doctors, my skull too has smashed and beyond repair. So I was declared a bad case. Already, I'm diabetic, and I contracted pneumonia as a result of the handling in the hospital, and malaria as well. So my case was a complex case. I was abandoned in the hospital. No care was given because they had the belief that any attempt to do anything on me was waste of resources and time. Our late Amir Maulana Maulvi Wahab Adam did not hesitate in calling Dr. Aga Khan in the US.
Sometime in, I think it was April of 2008, and I received a call from Amir Wahab Adam Sahab. He said, Dr. Sahab, I want you to come to Ghana. I said, Amir Sahab, wasn't planning on it. He said, no, I just want you to drop everything and come to Ghana. When I came to see him, he had head injury before he was unconscious. But when I arrived, he had a little bit of consciousness, and his eye was bulging out, and he had head injury, and he was no movement in his legs at the time. And I was like, I don't know how much I can help him, but I have to do something. And I agreed to do surgery on him on his spine, because his spine was broken in the thoracic area and there was no function in his legs. And he had a fracture at thoracic vertebrae 7 and 8, and his spine had moved. So that's a sign that spinal cord has been severed.
He came and did a major operation on me and used what is called titanium hooks on my back to support the broken spine.
He had fractures, spine of front and back, and that needed to be stabilized, because even if he survived, he cannot have a unstable spine, so you cannot sit him on a wheelchair, you cannot rehabilitate him. And the wheelchair I was thinking, because I didn't think he was going to gain function again, but he needed to be stabilized. So there were, I think, 8 screws that I put in in his spine.
After the surgery, Huzur had arrived and I gained consciousness. So I told both Dr. Khan and Amir Wahab Adam that I would like to see Huzur.
They finally allowed me to do surgery on Friday. That's when the Jalsa was starting, so I missed my first day of Jalsa. So once we finished the surgery, and that was on Friday, I attended the Jalsa. I had some friends here. And then I was at Jalsa, and that's when I received a call from Mr. Osman. And I was like, he said, "Doctor, I have a request for you." I said, "Mohideen, I just did a major surgery on your back. What do you mean? You should be resting." He said, No. I want you to help me to meet Khalifa. I want to shake his hand. I mean, he begged me to take him to or have him meet Huzur. I said, "Okay, I'll see what I can do."
So the arrangement was made and I was conveyed from the hospital, that's Kolebu, to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission to meet Huzur.
So as the ambulance came, Huzur was informed, and I was trying to get him out of the ambulance. The Huzur arrived, and he said, "No, leave him in there." He climbed in the ambulance, and I introduced him to Mohideen, to Huzur. He said, "What was wrong with him?" I told him, "This is how the situation is, and this is what I had to do," and I showed him the x-rays, etc. And Huzur asked me, "So what are his chances of recovering?" And I was in my mind like 0. But I said, "Huzur, maybe 5%. But he said, "So then why did you do surgery on him?" I said, "Well, I was hoping that, well, first of all, I needed to do surgery, for rehabilitation, but at the same time, I'm praying and hoping that with your prayers and with Allah's grace, he may get some function back."
Huzur entered the ambulance. When he entered the ambulance, the whole place was lighting up. And I opened my eyes clearly. For the first time, I could see clearly. He came over to me, mentioned my name, and I looked at him, asked me whether I can recollect who he was, and I said yes. He said, "Okay, inshallah, you'll be okay. You will recover." Then he raised his hands and prayed over me. So many people were present because it was in the mission house. They all joined in the prayer. After the prayer, Amir Wahab Adam told my brother that they should relax. That once Huzur has raised up his hands to pray, that inshallah, I will bounce back to life. And according to my nephew, who is a nurse and was always by my side, he told me that it was the only day, that night was the first night I had a sound sleep. So even after Dr. Khan's operation, the doctors still turned their back on me. They abandoned me. Amir Wahab Adam, realizing that this was a danger, quickly organized, and I was evacuated and sent to Ahmadiyya Hospital in Asakore. There in Asakore, Huzur prescribed some homeopathic medicine, and they brought it to me. Some were taken daily, others weekly, others monthly, and even others, he said, after 3 months. So at least that was the first hope that all things being equal, I will live up to the next 3 months. Because Huzur had given medicine that I would take after 3 months. Dr. Mahmoud Bat, the doctor who was in charge of Asakore, did extremely very well. I was in the hospital for 1 year and some months, and all this while, he did his best for me.
The next time I came, maybe 6 weeks or 2 months later. So somebody, or maybe 3 months, I don't exactly remember. I think it was about 6 weeks or about 2 months. So I was in the Amir Saab's office, and someone came and said, there is a man who wants to see you. I said, okay. So I went out there, and Muhyiddin was standing there. And I was like, Subhanallah. That was a moment that I knew miracles can happen. And that was, after that, I told Muhyiddin that I'm going to arrange for him to come to the United States. We had him rehabilitation. I had a very little hope that he's going to be able to walk. But today he's walking, and he had, he's a practicing lawyer. That shows you that what shifa is in God's hands, not in doctor's hands.
So in the hospital, after some time, I asked the doctors why I could still not walk without the stick. They told me I shouldn't talk. I should thank God I'm alive. That my situation is a miracle. That they've not seen something like this before. That I shouldn't have been alive. I should have been a dead man long ago. That if I know exactly what happened to me, that it's a miracle that I'm alive. I told her, yes, I know it's a miracle. They said, how do I know? I said, because of the man who prayed for me. And then who is that man? I said, the supreme head of the Ahmadiyya community who resides in London. They didn't know much about Islam, let alone Ahmadiyya. So I took advantage of that to explain to them, to lecture them, to let them know what Islam is and what Islam Ahmadiyyat is, and especially about Huzur. And I told them that yes, indeed, even the doctors in Ghana had predicted, though wrongly, that I was going to die. That it was their position, and they put in little effort. But when Huzur prayed, Allah listened to the prayer, and here I am today, still strong and moving from strength to strength. So later, when I went to Jalsa in UK, and I went for Mulakat, and Huzur, you know, at the Mulakat, nobody stays there for more than 5 minutes. In my case, I sat with Huzur more than 30 minutes. But Huzur was himself very eager and anxious to see me. So when I entered, he got up and moved to embrace me. He asked me if I could recall some of the things he said when he entered the ambulance, and I said, yes, I could recollect them. Even the du'as he sent me to be reciting, that anytime I should be reciting, as I lie down, I should recite, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin, kaman sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim, innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin, kaman barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim, innaka Hamidum Majid. He sent them to me that I should be reciting them all the time. Even much later, when I wrote to him again, he still maintained that I should continue reciting them. I will recite them more, and that inshallah, I'll bounce back to life. So here I am. I'm doing much better, much better. I know how the whole thing started and where I've gotten to now. I know the difference, what it is. So alhamdulillah. I have some doctor friends in Kolebu. When they came to visit me in Asakore, and I came out of the ward and we sat on the porch, they observed me for a while. And one of them, who is a non-Ahmadi, he nodded his head and said, that your man, referring to Huzur, that your man is a man of God. Naturally, there will be a stronger relationship between me and God after going through this. But this is a real trial. I read in the Quran, God says that I'll not just leave you like that because you say you believe. I'll try you, just as I did to those before you. I'll try you with something of fear, death, sickness, and poverty, just as I did to those before you. So I consider my case a trial. And the way forward is for me to have a stronger relationship with my God, my Creator. So that is the story about me.